Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, viewers. So here it is. We're going straight in the news tonight. Straight into the news tonight. Director of Public Prosecution, DPP Roger Gasper. Now, remember, on a previous night show, I asked why did the DPP drop the charges against Martin, Miss Martin. Now, listen to this, Director of Public Prosecution, DPP Roger Gasper, SC, has explained his decision to discontinue the dangerous driving charge against Deputy Commissioner of Police, Saieed Martin, citing the extreme tenuous nature of the evidence. So number one, they admitted it was dangerous driving. Number two, they admit they dropped the charges against a dangerous driver, which is a police officer. Good. In an interview on December 18, Gasper said it was unlikely any conviction could have been supported. 14-year-old got his foot broken down, bounced by a police officer, and they decided not to charge anybody for it. All well and good. He said, having reviewed the CCTV footage of the incident, the evidence of dangerous driving was extremely tenuous. Listen to this.
Having reviewed the video footage and the statements in the file, there was, in my view, no prospect of conviction on that evidence. Whether the nature of this matter and the public interest.
Now, viewers, Gasper acknowledged that while his office initially advised laying the charge, a re-evaluation of the evidence prompted the decision to file a notice of discontinuance. So his office, the Trinidad and Tobago DPP office, initially told Gaspar to lay charges against her, he reevaluated the evidence and decided to send a note to discontinue the matter. Discontinue the charge. He said, if there is no reasonable prospect of conviction, we do not pursue those matters. He said his office had a duty to be fair to everyone. So you gonna tell me a police officer driving down the road, a 14-year-old come out, you bungs the child, and that is it. That is it. You go back to work, no charge, no nothing. But when a normal citizen bungs somebody on the road, you want to take away their license, you want to suspend them, you want to seize their vehicle. Mr. DPP, I want you to understand something. What good for the police officer? I hope it's good for the citizen, you know. I'm telling all you, you know. Because I will make a mockery out of all you, you know. Because the whole of Trinidad and Tobago is watching you, you know, Mr. DPP. Even your office now is watching you, you know. Okay, good. I hope you know what you're doing. On April 18th, 2023, Martin, driving an unmarked police vehicle, allegedly struck a 14-year-old student crossing the priority bus route in Sawa. The Police Complaint Authority, PCA, investigated and Martin was charged via summons and order to appear in court. The PCA compiled a file after obtaining CCTV footage. The same CCTV footage that the DPP saw is the same CCTV footage that the PCA saw. No difference. The PCA compiled a file after obtaining the CCTV footage of the collision and enlisting the help of numerous witnesses on the scene. PCA report recommendation, disciplinary and criminal charges against Martin. Reaffirming her dedication to the safety and security of TNT, Martin pledged to continue serving with professionalism and integrity. Professionalism and integrity have nothing to do with dangerous driving. Let me get that out the scenario one time. Let's get it out the scenario one time. Your professionalism is a police officer. That is your profession. You need to be professional in that. But if being a police officer and you bump somebody on the road, they need to examine your driving. PCA says lay charges on her. The DPP office told him to lay charges on her. But the DPP himself said we're not going to do it. What good for one, good for all, Mr. DPP. This is just a heads up for 2025. Because not Saieed, you know, Trinidad and Tobago citizens will be watching you as the DPP of Trinidad and Tobago. And they would look for something we call curry favor. Anybody know about that? Favoring, they would look for that, Mr. DPP. So you see, coming 2025, it's your name going to be calling, not Saieed's name. I just want you to understand that. I just want you to understand that. And from here going forward, your office may look at you different. They may look at you different. I want you to understand that also. So viewers, you're watching Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am Saieed. Remember, we are the #1 current affairs program in Trinidad and Tobago. We deal with the issues at hand. We deal with the issues that the people are dealing with on the ground. We bring it into live programming where we allow you to call the studio 238-6716 to voice your concerns and your opinion. A match break Friday. Coming to my business now. Remember, we are the only financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago that is offering you upfront on fixed deposit interest. Remember that. Only Real Talk. So we're continuing tonight. The final appeal over the government move to extend the term of Police Commissioner Earl Haywood Christopher by a year before she attained retirement age last year has been dismissed. In a judgment delivered today, the United Kingdom-based Privy Council rejected the appeal brought by political and social activist Ravi Ratiram, my mistake, Ravi Malgobin Maharaj, after his case was dismissed by High Court Judge Ricky Rahim and the Court of Appeal earlier this year. The law lord found that the case was properly decided by the local courts. For all these reasons, which are similar to those given by the Court of Appeal, Selection 75A of the 2006 Act is not unconstitutional, and there is nothing unlawful in the decision of the President to extend the service of the Commissioner beyond her normal retirement age, Lady Simala said. Now, in a lawsuit, Maharaj challenged a decision taken by the Cabinet to extend Haywood Christopher term by a year under Section 75 of the Police Service Act before she reached retirement age on May 15th last year. The legislation empowers the President to extend the term of a First Division officer who is due to retire if it is in the national interest to do so. Listen to this. Police officer can receive 2 further 1-year extension based on annual performance review. Trinidad and Tobago. Police officers can receive 2 further 1-year extension based on the annual performance review. Hey, the department that gave her 1-year extension, every single one of them in that department should get blind. Every single one of them. And I said it without an apology. The first 3 months the commissioner come on set, she failed. The commissioner kept on and on and failed every single plan that TTPS brought forth. Up to a few weeks ago, what was her reward? She failed again, admitting it. But you know what? There are people in our division that found it fit to put her back there because her performance was well done. Every single one of them, eyesight saying all should get blind. Trust me. All I want to turn blind eye, 2025, trust me. All I really had to turn blind eye. All I really had to turn blind eye, you know. Trust me, to help my God, 2025 is a different year for real talk. You see just how the Salary Review Commission, that department saw it fit to raise the salary of cabinet ministers and high-ranking officials in Trinidad and Tobago, but did not see it fit to pay more than 4% to the workers on the ground who needed it. Up to now, Ford protesting. They can't get their money. They can't get their increase. But SRC, they decide, you know what? We for the what? The high officials. All the damn next year just want to get a stroke in it. I within my rights, you know. I within my rights. So if you tell yourself, we're going to send a letter to carry Saieed to court, trust me, I'll have a different thing coming. Trust me. Hey, watch me. If somebody make a time behind my son and tread them blind, trust me, don't play around me. I'm telling all of this on national television. Too much of madness happening in our little country. 1.4 people to manage, and we have a present administration. Don't give a damn what money spent. They don't give a damn where the money spent. Crongenberg, $3.4 billion still missing. He's still sitting on in Parliament. Central Bank Governor, he's still the Central Bank Governor. What does he keep back from giving the Auditor General Office access to check the check clearance system? Who's the fault of that? Is it Colin Imbert or the Central Bank Governor? Who have to give authorization? That's still pending. Ministers get an increase. While Gonzalez is telling the nation that if your family taking you out 2 times for the week, and they decide, you know what, we're taking you out 1 time, it's because the sacrifice your family making. While the family making sacrifice to pay a bill, to get water in the pipe, Marvin Gonzalez get an increase in Parliament. And Saieed must shut him out. Saieed must shut him out. Correct? You see, come 2025, or let us see how this man who does do spirit work does do it. I consider it different. I calling you your name, I calling you out by your name and your office, and I putting you on the spot. Come 2025, batten all your crease. Trust me, because some of you go walk out of parliament. They're quite telling all you. Let me tell you something. Being a businessman in this country, I suffering for years. Being a businessman in this country, my son was almost kidnapped. Being a businessman in this country, I become a target to bandits. And you see, come 2025, you see the last, in 2022 to 2023, I make a difference. Legislation like that passing, trust me, when 25 reach, plenty of ministers will be walking out of parliament. Trust me. I know what I'm telling you. I know what I could do. Terrence Diaz got a little warning. Oh, it have a loud man on TV and ting. What happened? One accident. The next one I told him, you may not be so lucky. Allah, come at me. Come at me. Come at me. I go show you who I is. Bandits try kidnapping my son, but they knock on the wrong door. They knocked on the wrong door. Three of them suffering today. The mother is only telling them, Allah, good. Allah, look for that. Allah, look for that. Allah, lucky, Allah, body parts Eddie Kane. Mother is telling them that every single day go by. 2025, Allah gonna like me. But they don't bother me. You know why? There are the elderlies in this country that need help. There are people who are supposed to be collecting social development and they're not collecting it. How come? There are people supposed to get food card and they're not getting it because when you go in the grocery, you see some big boy driving a BMW, swiping a food card. How the hell did he get that? But Donna Cox want to talk? Donna Cox, 2025 is a different story for your department, you know. Trust me. Trust Saieed. Not Trinidad and Tobago. It's time for the break. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but let me tell you something. If your fridge was opening, here's what you do. Get up for the next few minutes and go and get your juice and go and get your snack because we're coming back to the firefighter story right here in Trinidad and Tobago after this.
We'll be right back.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Become a member of Realtalk Credit Union, now located at number 14 Caroni Savannah Road, Chaguanas. Open a fixed deposit with Realtalk Investments and get 4% on interest with interest payment being paid up front. Get in contact with us at 238-6716, 231-6219 or 339-1670. Realtalk Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Plant a seed today for a better tomorrow. Life throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward. Trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, the big fire issue in our country. Let me tell you something. For the last few days, a lot of fire has been taking place with houses in communities across Trinidad and Tobago. So listen to this. Listen to the story that made December month. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley have stated that a probe will be done into the circumstances surrounding the fire service response to the fatal fire at the Arima house of Dabadi and Umira MP and the Minister in the Ministry of Education, Lisa Morris Julian, which led to her death and those of her two children. Speaking at a soil turning ceremony, Dr. Rowley said, "We need to know what happened." He asked, why, with a fire station on the corner of Fafan Street, why the fire tender got there at the time that we know they got there. Rowley also confirmed that this Prime Minister is Zena. Rowley confirmed that there was conflicting information, and as a result of that, the National Security Council has directed the National Security Minister, Phil Gerald Hines, to come up by tomorrow afternoon with an appropriate committee to investigate why there wasn't a better response. I want to listen to this Prime Minister.
Yes, I did that this morning. I had a meeting with a small delegation from the National Security Council this morning. I had the minister also at midday, and the minister has been directed by the National Security Council to put in place an appropriate inquiry as to how things went and assess and ascertain what actually happened. We need to know what happened, why with the fire station on the corner of Fafan Street, why the fire tender got there at the time that we now know he got there. And I can tell you, we have been receiving conflicting information, and as a result of that, today the National Security Council directed the Minister of National Security to come up by tomorrow afternoon with an appropriate committee to investigate why there wasn't a better response with a fire station on the corner.
The first thing you should ask, Mr. Prime Minister, about the fire truck on the corner, you should ask Mr. Phil Gerald Hines if the fire truck was appropriate to leave the garage or to leave the fire station. That is what you should ask Phil Gerald Hines. Not that video, pull back that. Trinidad and Tobago, let me tell you something. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago has ordered Fitzgerald Hines to come up with an appropriate, proper committee. Fitzgerald Hines is the same man who told Trinidad and Tobago it is not his job to make us feel safe. So who the hell going to appoint some committee to investigate the fire? The same man who told us he didn't care about us. In other words, the same man who tell us, who said, that's not my job. That is the same man. All you want now to appoint that committee? Mr. Prime Minister, better you just talk to for their dog and raise their spirit to get the truth. They're quite telling all you wasting time putting a failed man. The man tell the citizen, that's not my job to make all of you feel safe. That man you want to appoint now to a committee to investigate fire, you better you go by the grave and talk to the dead. I know I telling all you, it's best you go in a graveyard and talk to the dead. If his child don't like it, that's his business. His own community don't want him. His own community don't want him. That's the man you're putting in charge? Prime Minister, use the next joke you want on the next side. Use the next joke you want on the next side. The Prime Minister stated, the PM stated, that when he spoke with a chief fire officer, they told him that there was no problem with water. Listen to this.
And that officer turned up, and alongside the officer was the head of the fire service. I specifically asked, did you have any problems with water? Trying to find out whether that may have contributed to the fact that the building went the way you have reported. I was told by both gentlemen there was no problem with water, and more so they had backups in place in the event that there was a problem, and that they had full cooperation, which was from the entities, and I presume that meant WASA.
Trinidad and Tobago, the Prime Minister said that when he spoke with the chief fire officer, there was no problem with water. Now look at this what the fire service is. Look for the part where the fire is saying, but there is no water. Scroll up. Trinidad and Tobago, read. Second to last line, second paragraph. Upon arrival, a request was made for additional water supply. Due to the what? Trinidad and Tobago, due to what? Due to the lack of water in the area. Come back to me. When my show was going on last night, today is Thursday night, when our show was going on Wednesday night we raised this issue. We got a call from someone in Arima saying there is no water in Arima. Tuesday night, there was no water in Arima. So now, the conflicting story now is who lying? That's the conflicting story. Who lying? People in the community called in, saying they have no water. TDPS released an issue. They had to order water because there's a lack of water in the community. So the chief personnel officer up and say now, they had no problem with water. Who is lying? 3 persons died. Who lying? Are we going to get justice? Listen to this. On December 16, the fire service said, when it received the emergency call about the fire at Morris Julian home, the nearest fire station in Arima was engaged in an industrial fire. And the other one at Tunapuna was responding to another house fire. You have visuals? Where are the visuals? Come to all. Let me tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. It's too much of damn slackness in our country. Too much of people dying in our country. And for the last few days, there has been a lot of house fire in this country. Now, on December 17th, Fire Service Association FSA President Kieran Guy said, if the Arima fire station had an additional appliance, or if there was another station in Arima, the 3 lives could have been saved. The 3 lives could have been saved. Public Utility Minister Marvin Gonzalez has since rejected a claim for lack of water in the area of Arima and said that it is very untrue and will create mischief in the public domain. Listen to Marvin.
Unfortunately, I did not receive any communications from the fire services on the issue of lack of water, alleged lack of water in the Arima area, which would have may have contributed to the efforts to subdue the fire. Chief Fire Officer would have mentioned or clarified to the Prime Minister that there was in fact the availability of water to respond to the fire, and that response was also in the presence of other ministers of government when the Prime Minister inquired. I understand that the Fire Services Association would have issued a statement today, and the issue of the availability of water, which was mentioned first by the fire services, was not dealt with, and that is the issue that is before us. And I think it is a bit unfortunate that the other issues that are being thrown into the mix at this point in time, this is not going to help the situation. Our family is grieving. The entire country is grieving. And we cannot utilize opportunities like that to create mischief in the public domain.
Marvin Gonzalez, I want you to understand something. You see these citizens in the community, you don't hear their voice. You do not hear their voice. No MP in a community hears the voice of the people in the community, because all of that is bricks sticking all your ears. All of that is bricks sticking all your ears. You're a cabinet minister, you got an increase. While the civil servants of Trinidad and Tobago had to beg for 4%. Beg. CPO says that I take it and you go home with nothing. It's stinking sad. It's stinking sad in Trinidad and Tobago what the people have to face with ministers. But trust me, come 2025, it'll be a different story. I'm going to laugh about it now. Because 2025 ain't reached yet. Now, viewers, listen to this, eh? We have a call. Call a good night.
Saieed, a pleasant good night.
Go right ahead, my dear.
Compliments of the season.
Same to you.
Saieed, I say Parliament moved to Arima, you know. Saieed, I see all these people by this fire where this woman get burned. Like
Yes.
she's the first woman with children get burned in Trinidad and Tobago.
It's
I
sad.
sympathize, yes. But what the hell? Children burn up in houses. Families burn all over the place, Saieed. I
Correct.
never see Parliament go by nobody's house.
Correct.
What the hell going on with this PNM government, boy? Who the hell is Rowley to want to investigate about water? We're suffering for water and water bill coming every 2 months, 3 months, however the hell it is. And we bawling for water. Camille Regis Robinson, she can open her mouth bigger than that, like she from some part of town. That's how you getting on as a Palatarian. Opening your mouth and bawling. It's so everybody else bawling, Camille. No money. Christmas doom for them. The children of this nation suffering. They're dying in daycares. I never see Parliament go by a daycare when a child die in a daycare. I never see them by the hospital.
Correct.
Correct. What the hell all of them doing there? Who the hell is wherever? Morris, wherever. Morris is not the only person get burned here.
True.
People, families, people, senior citizens getting murdered every day.
I believe a senior citizen got burnt up in a house today.
4 stabs in the woman's neck. What the hell going on in this place? Why Rowley and them have pulled the frame up by the house there where they stab up the senior in her neck?
Thank you, my dear.
None of them up there.
Thank you. Trinidad and Tobago, I believe a senior citizen get burned up in their house today. How come the Prime Minister went? Oh, that is not a member of Parliament. So here is bacchanal now. Here is bacchanal now. Complaints about the lack of resource for the fire service has been made constantly over the years, with Hines insisting it was properly resourced. Yeah, Hines saying that, properly resourced. Message was sent to National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines for clarification, but got no response. I will show you a little video of this now. Hold on. I want to ask all of this now. You see, when they say somebody abusing the authority, this is how it is work. Why is the Prime Minister suppressing the authority of TTFS, which means Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service, by calling on Hines to appoint a committee to investigate the cause of the fire in which MP Lisa Morris and her children lost their lives? So many families lost their lives. How come the Prime Minister didn't call on Fitzgerald Hines to appoint a committee? That's number one. Number two, it is standard operating procedures for the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service to conduct fire investigation into the cause of fire that the day after a fire occurred, and the appointment of a committee can be viewed as a lack of confidence or just plain disregard for the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service, who has the authority to stop anyone from entering the premises until an investigation is completed. Who in the committee now that Fitzgerald Hines is going to appoint to investigate a fire? Why are you suppressing the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service investigators who are, listen, Trinidad and Tobago, who are trained? This committee, is any member of this committee trained? Prime Minister, that's a question for you and your cabinet. Fitzgerald Hines, that's a question for you and your damn cabinet. The people are going to appoint, are they trained in what causes fire? Or is it a mama guy the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago? Why are you all depressing the fire service of this country? Why? Why? All you know why I like this? All you know why I like this? Because for big educated bachelor degree people, they lack common sense. They have gobar in their head. You want to appoint a team to check the fire. First, you should check and ask Hines, do we have any persons who is trained in fire investigating other than the fire service of Trinidad and Tobago? So the Prime Minister make himself a clown, who appointed a next failure to make himself a clown, and then to appoint a committee now to make all of them look like clowns. Who are you going to investigate? All you want to take an outsider and bring them into TTFS to investigate a fire? You know what that shows Trinidad and Tobago? That the ministers of this country have they lack the beliefs. They lack the beliefs of the entities that service our country. Talk now, man. I won't fall you tonight, you know why? You know why? It's too much of madness taking place in our country. Too much. Money missing Prime Minister don't give a damn. Anybody could say anything. And that's the end of it. Three people died. Fire officer released one statement. The chief officer releasing a next statement. Who lying? Come Trinidad and Tobago, who lying? Hey, we good. We better than honey in this country. We better than honey. So we are going for a short commercial break. But after this break, we're going back to the same story now. And we're going to hear what Keith have to say concerning the setting up of the funeral service. for Miss Morris after this.
We'll be right back.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Caroni Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Become a member of Realtalk Credit Union, now located at number 14 Caroni Savannah Road, Chaguanas. Open a fixed deposit with Realtalk Investments and get 4% on interest with interest payment being paid upfront. Get in contact with us at 238-6716, 231-6219 or 339-1670. Realtalk Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Plant a seed today for a better tomorrow. When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Realtalk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Realtalk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Realtalk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
At Realtalk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real public concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
There you go. The government will be providing what Prime Minister Dr. Saieed Ali has described as a state-assisted funeral for Minister in the Ministry of Education, Lisa Morris-Julian. The PM said the government will do all it can to assist the family during the time of grief, adding that Morris-Julian loved ones will determine when and where the funeral will take place. He confirmed that it is not a state funeral. He confirmed that it is not a state I'll listen to this video what the Prime Minister had to say. Sometimes I get confused with he, you know.
Except that the government today at Cabinet took a decision to have a state-assisted funeral. It's not a state funeral. It's state-assisted specifically means the government will be helping the family, providing significant funding and helping the family with the logistics of a funeral in which there's great public interest. So she's going to have a state-assisted funeral. The family will determine the date and the place, and we cooperate and go alongside. As of today, we haven't got any new information as to when the funeral will be, but we all on standby to participate, to provide the family with all the support that they need at this time to get over this tragedy.
Trinidad and Tobago, the Prime Minister said that the government will do all it can. Now listen to this. He confirmed that it is not a state funeral. State assisted specifically means the government will be helping the family, providing significant funding and helping the family with the logistics of a funeral in which there is great public interest. So, Prime Minister, your government assisting the family. Okay, we understand that. Isn't she an MP who deserves a state funeral? I'm asking you, is she not a member of parliament? Is she not an MP? Is she not on the PNM side? Sometimes I just wonder what all I really want to tell the public, you know. Trust me. And I believe that you always be tied up with all your own words. With all your own words. Call her good night. Stay here, get the click, you know. Hello?
To wake up and be proactive in what is happening in this country and to their lives, man. Let me tell you something. Citizens of this country must understand one of the major criteria to be a politician in this country, and as we seen it here on your program, the politician, you must be a notorious liar. You must be a notorious thief. You must be able to lying for you must be like speaking the truth. And you know why this is so in this country, citizens? There are no consequences for wrongdoing. You think what is happening in this parliament here today with our politician could happen anywhere in the country? Look and see what is happening throughout the African continent. It's riot because of politicians with the same behavior we have here. And see who run in the country. That will give you all the answers that you need. When you have a DPP that is freeing people, dropping charges for wrongdoings, they could bounce down people and drop charges. There's where we are in this society, you know, but the ordinary man, if he do something wrong, he will face the consequences and go to jail. But state officials in this country, no consequences, and that is where we are today in this society.
Yes.
Mr. Saieed, God bless you, man. You keep up the great work, and citizens, wake up in this country. Let us deal with this. The unions, take over this country. Good job, Saieed. Keep up the great work. God bless you.
Thank you, my friend. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, less than a day after Social Development Minister Donna Cox defended proposed legislation that would impact the elderly's access to the Senior Citizen Pension Grant, Attorney General Regional Armour is now saying that the controversial amendment that could have sent people with savings of over $25,000 become ineligible for old age pension was included in error. So you would tell me somebody make a big error like that and then carry it to Parliament? During a media briefing at the Ministry of Social Development and Family Service yesterday, Donna Cox stated that the government has no intention to interfere with the opinion of any senior citizens. Listen to this.
And we are here to address some concerns with regards to the Senior Citizens Pension Bill that was laid in the House recently. And I want to give the assurance to our senior citizens that the government has no intention to interfere with the pension of any senior citizen. In the bill, the eligibility criteria includes income, those who are ordinary resident, and there was never any requirement with regards to savings. It has always been income-based. No requirement with regards to savings. Unfortunately, it appears such a requirement was introduced into the bill, which was not highlighted in the policy or even in the cabinet note that was approved. And that note was in March 2023. What is in that note, it addressed the question of income criteria, age, and residency. No savings requirement. It so happened that we had cabinet today. We normally have cabinet on a Thursday, but we had cabinet today, and we discussed the note. And at cabinet today, in discussing the note, I wish to affirm that it is not, and it never was, cabinet's intention to affect the savings of our elderly at all. So therefore, we will not be pursuing that part of the bill.
Now, viewers, we have a call. Call good night. Next one. Reading from what he called paragraph 9, the Attorney General added that a policy document came to Cabinet in March 2023, and there was nothing in the Cabinet note which was addressing the draft policy that spoke to anything to do with savings. Listen to this.
The Minister has outlined very clearly it is not the intention of the government to pass legislation to impact the savings of pensioners. The Cabinet note which first introduced this issue came to the Cabinet in March of 2023, and the policy document, because ordinarily Cabinet approves a policy coming from the particular ministry which is promoting the legislation, the draft legislation. And the policy document that came on the 3rd of December 2021 from the Ministry of Social Development made it very clear at paragraph 9. The draft policy has been revised, and I'm reading from paragraph 9. The draft policy has been revised to define the term ordinary residence and include such definition in the interpretation section, page 6 of the draft policy refers. Further, guidelines have now been provided in section 4 to assist in the determination of whether a person is ordinarily resident or not. The ministry further proposes that all of the qualification requirements for the senior citizen's pension should be contained in one comprehensive section of the Act. And this is the important part of paragraph 9 that I wish to read. As a consequence, the ministry proposes that section 4 should speak to the entire criteria to be satisfied. And I stress the words there, the entire criteria to be satisfied. And those criteria laid out: 1, age; 2, income; and 3, residential qualification. There was no reference to any criteria either affecting or defining savings.
Now, viewers, one thing I will give credit for to the Attorney General. One thing, and coming from me, is a big thing. Listen to this. The Attorney General said, pressed on how government did not notice the so-called error in the bill before it went to Parliament. Amor reiterated he was out of the country, and he wanted to know how the government could allow this bill to go in to Parliament. Now, according to a media release from the office of the AG during the time, Camille Robinson Regis acted as AG. Listen to this, Amor said he is also taking full responsibility for the public servant error. He denied it had anything to do with public backlash. Listen to this.
No, I am withdrawing it because now that I have looked at it carefully and it was brought to my attention by the Cabinet this morning and I did the research, I have satisfied myself that there is an error in the bill and I am going to withdraw it. I read the bill before it was laid in Parliament. As I said, when it was brought to Cabinet on the 21st of November in the final draft that went before Cabinet, I was not in the country. Now that it's come to my attention, I'm addressing it.
Is that normal for it to go to Parliament, for it to be laid in Parliament, and you wouldn't have seen what I guess now is the final draft that had that in it?
I did not say I did not see it. I said I read the bill, but at the date at which it went to cabinet, I was not in the country. And it is normal that in the absence of a government minister, government continues.
But you would have had someone to fill in for your role, not so? You are appointed acting Attorney General. Wouldn't the acting Attorney General have to have oversight there?
That's correct. But I'm not pointing any fingers. I take responsibility.
Trinidad and Tobago, I applaud the Attorney General for being a big man in the business and taking full responsibility for it. So we could talk about that. Now, I want to see some bacchanal. Run that director. Run that picture on screen. So while this visual going up on screen, I will read out this to you all. The Attorney General, Jayanti Ramdas, in 2023 to 2024 has raised several critical issues in her report, which laid in Parliament by Minister of Finance Claude Booth. Several ministries under the PNM government cannot account for money spent. They have no supporting document for hundreds of millions of taxpayers' money. Number 1, Ministry of Health, headed by Terence Dial Singh. 5.4 million for medical equipment, no contract, no letter of award of contract, no supporting documentation for validate payment, no delivery note of the equipment. Number 2, Minister of Public Utilities, headed by Marvin Gonzalez, $25 million for water improvement project. No contract, no letter of award contract, no supporting documentation, validate payment. We're moving along. Payment could not be verified or validated. Trinidad and Tobago, all read it. We're moving along now. Ministry of Energy, headed by Stuart Young, $720,000 payment due to URICOT. No contract, no letter of awarded of contract, no supporting documentation to validate payment. Payment could not be verified. And we're going on. The Auditor General raised critical issues. Number 4, Ministry of Legal Affairs, headed by Regional Armour. The Judiciary, $22.5 million for various projects. No contract, no letter of award for contract, no supporting documentation or validate payment. $11.3 million in deposit into various accounts. I wonder who are those people? We're going on again. No reconciliation statement. Allah come good, Allah come good. 2025 coming, we hot like fire. Ministry of National Security, headed by Fitzgerald Hines, $1.2 million for rental of vehicle. No contract, no letterhead of award for contract, no supporting documentation for validate of payment. $1.3 million for advance payment of rental of vehicle. No approval for payment for accounting office. $2.1 million serve provision to TTPS. No persons, or we pause there. Persons who collected these checks were not on the authorized list. All I hear that? Persons who collected these checks were not on the authorized list. $600,000 building repair and maintenance. No contract, no letter of award of contract, no supporting document to validate payment. Trinidad and Tobago, and we're going again. We're going again. We have time. $212,000 additional refurbishment work. Auditor General, right? Now listen this. No amended to contract to cover the additional work. Payment approved by the Acting Commissioner of Police without contract amendment. Site visits showed that the work was incompleted while the contractor was paid in full. $826,000 for TTPS washroom upgrade. Works were not completed and contractor paid in full. $692,000 for network service. Works not completed and contractor paid in full. Let's talk now. Scroll the document there, let the people see it. We done? Conclusion by the Auditor General, the risk of material misstatement due to fraud or errors in the assess as high. Misstatement is defined as a false statement, also known as a falsehood, falsify, misstatement, or untruth. Is a statement that is false or does not align with reality. So tell me, Dr. Keith Rowley, since the buck stopped with you, how do we have hundreds of millions of taxpayers' dollars cannot be accounted for while you refer to Auditor General concerns as bacchanal. Trinidad and Tobago. I tell you, we're bringing it real to all you. We're bringing it real to all you. But nevertheless, this will continue. Viewers, we are out of time for tonight, but hey, it's Friday and another day. Our run is 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. The next day, we'll be right back here another night. Until then, good night.